What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And we just got a huge injury update on Kansas City Chiefs star defensive tackle Chris Jones. This is per Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. He reports that Andy Reid says Chris Jones' calf strain will not practice for the Chiefs this Monday. Now, this comes after Jay Glazer, NFL insider, reported right before Sunday Night Football this past weekend that the MRI for Chris Jones was negative. So it sounds like it's a very minor injury, which some people were still wondering about. It's a minor injury, it's a calf strain, but it's enough that he's not practicing today. And with this quick turnaround from the Houston Texans game to the Pittsburgh Steelers game on Christmas Day, this is the Chiefs' lone practice this week. So that means Chris Jones will not practice prior to the Pittsburgh Steelers game. So, with that being said, I think personally that it's incredibly unlikely that Chris Jones plays in this game. That's an injury that you really don't want to mess with. You don't want to test if it's not 100%. All you're asking the Chiefs to do is win one game without Chris Jones. And while Chris Jones is an incredibly important piece, I mean, he leads all DTs and pressures, hurries. He has the first pass rush win rate among DTs, according to PFF. He's second in PFF grade among DTs. Like, his importance cannot be overstated. But you just have to win one game without him. And I do think that's possible. I think this game is actually going to come down to the offensive performance. You just need the offense to put enough points. I'm okay with the defense without Chris Jones going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the secondary and Steve Spagnuolo, they can create enough havoc that Russell Wilson is not going to tear them apart. This is a relatively mild passing attack of the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I trust the Kansas City Chiefs defense without Chris Jones in this game. Of course, pass rush is going to be an issue, but I think Spags can do enough with the coverage with this group of DBs that's been playing a little bit better. Still not great, and they still have to figure out that cornerback 2 spot. Wondering when we're going to see Steven Nelson, but that's another topic of discussion for a different video. But I think, Jaden Hicks has played really well over the last few weeks. Trent McDuffie has been on a heater. I think you have enough. You can win this game without Chris Jones. But that 4-day turnaround is just too short amount of time for Chris Jones to realistically make it back for this game. Michael Darcy and I also talked about this on our post-game show over the weekend, though. Chris Jones was in good spirits on the sideline after he was ruled out with that injury, or I think he was ruled questionable to return. Either way, he was not coming back in that game because the Chiefs pretty much had it locked up. But he was in good spirits on the sideline. He was on the sideline mentoring teammates, simulating pass rush moves. I don't think he would be doing all that if it was really that big of a concern, but it's just enough, and it's too quick of a turnaround that I don't think you're going to see him in this Pittsburgh Steelers game, but that's completely okay. It would have been awesome if the Bills had lost to the Patriots yesterday and this game would have meant nothing, and you wouldn't even need Chris Jones regardless. But unfortunately, the 1 seed is still in play for Buffalo. So Kansas City has to take this game seriously, and Andy Reid is going to have to get a little bit creative. Steve Spagnuolo is going to have to get a little bit creative with Chris Jones now out of the lineup. Now, an interesting thing that I wanted to bring up, and something that I think we could see happen with Chris Jones being out for this game, is maybe we finally see Joshua Uche active again. And with the Chiefs' rather shallow depth at defensive tackle, you'll see a lot more Mike Dana on the inside. You'll see a lot more George Karlaftis on the inside, Charles Omenihu. Those guys can all play on the interior, and we've seen that before. Spags will certainly move them around. So maybe we see those guys play on the interior a little bit more next to Tershawn Wharton and Mike Pennell. And then you activate Uche to play on the edge and kind of bring some of that pressure rate, some of that pass rush win rate that you now lose with Chris Jones out of the lineup. I hope that's what we see. I don't know if that's what we're going to see, but that possibility is now opened up with the fact that Chris Jones is not likely to play in this game. And I know some people are going to ask, why do you say that's unlikely? He could still end up playing on game day. Usually the rule with Andy Reid is that if you don't practice, you don't play. Now, Chris Jones is one of those guys that maybe have been the rule a little bit for. However, again, man, with that quick turnaround, I think you're going to see them play it safe. And with only one practice and Chris Jones not practicing in it, I just don't think you're going to see him. It's just that kind of scenario, and it's still ridiculous that the NFL is making the Chiefs play their third game in the last 11 days and go out there and play on just 4 days of rest. It's insane. We all hate it. I get it. But yeah, you're not going to see Chris Jones. I'm hoping that Spags gets creative, activates Josh Uche, and we see him, because I've been pounding the table for this team to utilize a speed rusher like that, and I was really disappointed to see him inactive over the past couple of weeks. So I would certainly throw him out there, even if it's only on third downs, and then you can move Mike Dana or Charles Omenihu inside, and then you have Uche on the edge replacing them, and he just brings you so much more pass rush than those guys we currently have out at edge. Mike Dana only has a 6% pressure rate this year. That's much too low for my liking. That's much too low for a starting defensive end. Charles Omenihu has been playing well since he's returned, but they're still trying to ease him in a little bit. You could let him have a breather by putting Uche in there. I just think activating Uche solves so many of your problems with not having Chris Jones most likely for this matchup. And man, all you got to do is get through this one, and then if you do, you have essentially a month to rest these guys before their next game, before their first playoff game, and that's going to be huge for guys like Mahomes. It's going to be huge for guys like Chris Jones and the rest of the team that's still getting healthy. DJ Humphries is another one, but Chris Jones is the topic of discussion here, and he's had a couple calf injuries before in the past, but it's just not something that you want to test, and I'm fully for the Kansas City Chiefs sitting him out for this game so that he can get healthy, because the value of having Chris Jones for the stretch run is much more than that of whatever you get out of winning this game. I understand that the 1 seed is still up for grabs technically for the Bills to get if the Chiefs lose this game, but I think you can win it without him, and even if you can't, you still have the Denver Broncos game to secure it. You would still control your own destiny. You just have to win that Denver Broncos game in the last week of the season. And I think it's much more likely that you could get Chris Jones back for that game. He may not be able to go in this one, but with a little bit more rest, I think he would be able to go against the Denver Broncos. But the best case scenario is if the Chiefs are to win this game without him, and then he gets that month of rest, because Lord knows this team needs it. I mean, they look tired. They've been performing better as of recently, but they still look tired. And Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, those guys that are a little bit on the older side for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think, they're really starting to feel the length of this season. And, man, remember, Kansas City, their bye week was all the way back in like week 7, week 8. So it's been a long time since these guys have gotten time off, and they're about to play their third game in 11 days. So let's cut them some slack, and let's have hope for our guys that they can close this out against the Pittsburgh Steelers, lock up that 1 seed, and then we can watch that Denver Broncos game stress-free for once this season. But that is the latest, guys, on Kansas City Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones and his injury status. I want to hear from you guys down below what your thoughts are on this. Are you confident in the Kansas City Chiefs that they have to go without Chris Jones? Curious to hear what you guys think. But with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And make sure you check out my work on ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com for more. And as always, go Chiefs!